And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of MLB DFS Quick Hits, your Tuesday, April 20th edition. 13-game slate on tap for you on this Tuesday, and the games start at 6:30 Eastern Time. So keep that in mind. When you're breaking it all down, we got a doozy for you. Full day of action, starting at 6:30 Eastern, going till 10:10 start time at night. 13 games. Be willing to cross some games out, be a little different, mix and match. Lots of fun ways to go about it. Weather-wise, keep an eye on Pittsburgh Detroit. Rain kind of comes in later in the day, evening, so that could be interesting. Other than that, a couple minor windy spots, nothing too crazy. Check back in the morning and see how that plays out for you. But the totals on this slate, we don't have one for Oakland, Minnesota game one of their doubleheaders, so it's only 7-inning game. Don't have that one yet. We got Arizona, Cincinnati, total 7.5. Waiting on Baltimore, Miami. Pittsburgh, Detroit, 8. Giants, Phillies, 8.5. Cardinals, Nats, 9. Blue Jays, Red Sox, 8.5. Mets, Cubs, waiting on that one. Rangers, Angels, 8.5. Brewers, Padres, 7. So missing a lot of totals on this one. It's a messy, weird slate. It's the best way I can put it. But let's get crack-a-lacking on it. Pitching on this massive slate is led by the one, the only, Corbin Burnes. $10,800 at the San Diego Padres. Woodruff put together a nice little outing on Monday. Zero problem going to Corbin Burnes. This man has been absolutely electric. 1 earned run on the season, over 18 and a third innings, back-to-back 6-inning no-run outings, 9 or more Ks in every start, 30 or more DK points in every start. It'd be awesome if he gets 30-plus DK points against the Padres. Very possible. He's that darn good. Same time, he's gone between 81 and 87 pitches. So something to keep in mind. Pitch count could be low, but at 10-8 on this slate, no problem playing for Corbin Burnes. The cash games for sure. In tournaments, if you want to be different, I get it. But I will definitely have some Corbin Burnes in cash and probably some GPPs this evening. You can go to Zach Wheeler at 98 if you choose. I'd rather not. I'd rather pay $1,000 more for Burnes or save some cash, but I don't mind it at 98 versus the Giants at home in that one. I'd rather go down to some tournament plays like Hyun-Jin Ryu at $8,700 against the Boston Red Sox. Ryu is a very, very good guy of avoiding serious contact. It's one thing he does extremely well. He's gone 6 2/3 and 7 innings in his last 2 starts. In all 3 starts, no more than 2 earned runs a start. He has 7 or more Ks in back-to-back starts. He's been very, very good this season. Brings a very solid floor into his action with upside. The Boston Bats are heating up, and they hit lefties very well. So tournament only with Ryu, but I see the appeal. In a matchup, he should go pretty much unowned. Another guy, Charlie Morton, at $8,100 at the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees team is striking out around 27% of the time versus right-handed pitching. Their bats have been abysmal. The fans in New York are rooting for the Mets, not the Yankees these days. It's a lot of fun out there in the Bronx. And you got Charlie Morton coming off 6 innings. He's thrown 6 innings in back-to-back starts, 5 runs, 1 run, but 7 or more Ks in 2 straight starts. He's got a floor of 15 in both starts. And this Yankees team strikes out a ton. He might give up some runs. There's no hiding that. But you got to imagine he goes 5 or 6 innings in this matchup with a ton of strikeout upside against this Yankees team and goes virtually unowned because people don't like to attack the Yankees. So Morton at $8,100 is very, very intriguing on this slate. In that matchup with Hyun-Jin Ryu, Erod, $8,000. Always a fan of Eduardo Rodriguez. This is a guy I don't mind going to in this matchup. I do like Toronto. It's Blue Jays Angels game. It's like you could see it being a pitcher's duel. You could see 1 or 2 teams going off or both teams going off. Like it's a 3 to 4 true outcome game. You could see all kinds of scenarios here. We love Erod. He's gone only 76 and 79 pitches in his 2 starts, 5 innings in both starts, 5 or more Ks in both starts. So the biggest thing with him is, how far is he going to go? They still want to keep it safe with him. So he probably goes 5 innings, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But the strikeout upside is there against Toronto. So 8K for Erod, I get it. I think in that little grouping there, I like Morton the most. And then you can go with Ryu and Erod to be a little different if you choose. But I think that Morton play at 81 definitely has some leverage in that matchup. Sliding on down now, I don't mind Matt Shoemaker, but it's only 7-8, so I'll probably pass. I'd rather go to Taijuan Walker at 76 against the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs team that is heating up of late, not going to hide that one, but a team that has a lot of swing and miss, still as a whole struggling offensively outside of like Bryant and Rizzo. The team is, and Contreras had a decent weekend. The team overall is still struggling at the plate. You got Walker only threw 4 1/3 his last time, 1 earned, but got 8 Ks. He went 6 innings and struck out 4 prior. 14 and 20 DK points. He brings a good floor in here. His velocity's up. His strikeouts are up. That's what you want with the Cubs. Maybe he gets up a couple runs. He gets the strikeouts. These are the things you're looking for in this matchup versus the Cubbies. So a guy like Taijuan Walker at 76 brings a nice value to the slate. For those of you wondering, you see Shohei Ohtani at $7,500? No. He's going to be held to 75 pitches on on Tuesday, and he's not going to be DHing. So it's going to be a different atmosphere. They just want to get his pitch count back up. Don't do it. So just avoid that one if you can. Another intriguing tournament play, John Gray, $7,300 at home against Colorado. Houston should be getting most of their players back. Altuve won't be coming back, and Jordan Alvarez might not be playing because there's no DH. So keep that in mind. But you do get John Gray, who had 2 starts already at home, 20 points or more in both starts against the Dodgers in Arizona. His worst start was on the road, and that's been the story of his career. He's pitched very well in Coors in his career, rough on the road. So if you want to go back to John Gray at home against Houston at 73 in a tournament, zero problem with that at all. I think it's a really strong tournament play. 2 more guys, 2 more values to look at on this slate. Luis Castillo is $6,600 at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks. This stands out. Yes, it does. He got destroyed his first outing. A second outing, 7 shutout innings, 5 Ks. Last time against the Giants, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 7 Ks. And overall pitching pretty well. It was in that he gave up those 4 runs, I believe it was all in the first inning, or the first 2 innings, I believe it was. I watched that game. There were balls flying out of that ballpark I've never seen fly out of that ballpark. So I kind of take that with a grain of salt. He still hadn't managed to put up 13 DK points. At $6,600, you would kind of take that. His ceiling is tremendous. It's a matchup with Arizona. Arizona's bats are heating up. It is in Great American Small Park. Be cautious, but could Castillo put up 15-plus points because he gets some strikeouts against Arizona, even if he gives up a few runs? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. So $6,600 for Castillo, going to be extremely chalky. When we talk about bats and stacks, I will 100% have an Arizona Diamondback stack. No questions asked. I will have one to combat the chalkiness of Luis Castillo, but I will also have some Luis Castillo shares. I'm almost willing to even put them in cash with Corbin Burns and just walk away. But we'll see how things kind of pan out throughout the day on Tuesday. But that's where I'm standing at this point in time. Last pitcher I'll mention, this is if you really, really, really want to punt. It's not a must. Michael Fulmer at $5,800 at home against Pittsburgh. Fulmer got stretched out, went 5 innings against Houston, 2 earned, only 2 Ks. That's the biggest thing with Fulmer. He's not a big strikeout guy. We've seen him actually pitch well this season out of the bullpen, and then in his first start, just not getting a lot of strikeouts. But $5,800, could he run into 15 points for you and be basically an expensive bat hitting a home run? Sure, no problem at all. Recapping, Corbin Burns, yes. Zach Gallen, I want to see more pitches from, so I'm going to pass tonight, but I'm intrigued. So Burns, Ryu, Morton, Erod. I like Morton out of that 3-pack of Ryu, Morton, and Erod. I like him the most, but all 3 worth a look. You got Taijuan Walker, very good price point against the Cubbies. Luis Castillo's outstanding at $6,600, but just no chalky as chalk can be. And you got Fulmer at 58. So that's what we're looking at the pitchers on this slate. Let's talk some bats. Catcher's position. You got the big dogs, Realmuto, Perez, Contreras is heating up, Vasquez versus Ryu, Ramos versus Anderson. All very, very intriguing plays at their price point. If you want to pay up, sure. But I'm going to save some cash. I got some other targets I like below that range. I don't hate Mitch Garver. It's just 13-game slate, but I want to target the 7-inning game. That's the tough part. But Sean Manaea can't get hit around. If you're stacking Minnesota, you're putting Garver in that stack. So keep that in mind. But like Carson Kelly at 38, if you're not playing Castillo, Carson Kelly is a phenomenal play. He is heating up. He has 18 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games. He has 7 or more in 5 of his last 6 games. He's $3,800, the catcher's position. Great play against Castillo if you're not using Castillo. Like that a lot. You got Dom Nunez and Coors against Garcia at 38, another outstanding price point there. So like both of those. Tucker Barnhart at 37, not too shabby. He's been having a good season. He gets Gallen in Great American Small Park. So this is why I'm not paying up. You got Kelly, you got Nunez, you got Barnhart below 4K, all very, very much live in this matchup. If you want to fade Chris Paddock like I do, Omar Narvaez at 36. Don't hate that either. You can definitely look into that one. Jacob Stallings is $3,500 versus Fulmer. He's always a cheap catcher we like to target as well. So a lot of catchers in this 3K range. You can definitely mix and match with. If Francisco Mejia gets a start for Tampa Bay, he's $3,200. Quietly putting some decent games together here offensively, starting out hitting $321 on the season for the Rays. So Mejia at 32 is a nice little value at the catcher's position as well. See what comes out in lineups. Alejandro Kirk at 29 could be a nice value versus Erod as well, or Danny Jansen at 27. I prefer Kirk for sure, but could be options for you too. So definitely don't need to pay up at catcher tonight. You can if you're stacking. I get it, but there's some decent mid-tier to cheaper options at the catcher's position. First base, Freddie Freeman, $5,500, short porch and right at Yankee Stadium against Jameson Taillon. Love it at $5,500. I think it's a great play. There's cheaper plays I like, but if you're paying up, Freddie is outstanding. So is Vladito at 53. I love Erod, but Vladito is on straight fire. So those two are worth paying up for if you can afford them. They're not a must though, so don't think you have to play them. If you have extra cash, you're like, sure, I'm going to play them. Yeah, outstanding plays, but they're not a must. You want to go down below 4K though, like Jared Walsh at 48. I get it. It's going to suck though because Walsh's appeal to me is when he's with Trout and Ohtani, so it's like a 3-pack. Walsh and Trout by themselves. Not saying Walsh can't do it. It's against Jordan Lyles, of course he can, but it's kind of like maybe not. If you're not using Walker, Rizzo double donked on Sundays 46. You could ride that wave. Reese Hoskins in a Philly stack at 47. If you want to look that direction, Josh Bell's 44 versus Waino. You know you can attack Waino with the lefties. Bernardo Nunez at 43 versus Tyler Anderson is another option. Still not my favorite plays though. Like these are good plays. They're good stacking pieces. They're good one-offs potentially. Don't mind them. But like you got CJ Cron and Coors at 42. Eventually he's going to start hitting the baseball. Just be patient. Like it's going to happen. I know patience is tough, but it's going to happen. If you are stacking against Castillo, I said I will have an Arizona stack. Asdrubal Cabrera at 4K is intriguing. Might not make my stack, but at 4K, if he's hitting cleanup like he's been hitting, you pay attention to it. Now we're getting to some of the values I like. Colin Moran has been crushing it lately. He's 39 versus Fulmer. Moran 25-0, 16-10 over his last 3. Really good floor to the plate with some upside. He's 39 hundo versus Fulmer. Phillip Evans is 39 as well. He's first base, third base, though, so he's a part of the Pittsburgh stack with Moran. Keep that in mind. But we still haven't gotten to, like, those two I like. You can go there if you want. But the cash game play and just the insane value. Like in a tournament, Bobby Dahlbeck at 31, okay. But the insane value. He went deep on Monday night at $3,400. He gets Zach Wheeler, who's good, but he has great career history against Zach Wheeler. He has 16, 7, 21 over his last 3. I told you he's heating up. This is what he does. Brandon Belt's $3,000. $3,000. I believe he's like 23 or 24 on FanDuel. He's stupid cheap. He's definitely cash game viable yet again. He's $3,000. So that is a extreme value if you're not paying up. And some of the options, you don't have to pay down for Belt. Don't think you have to pay for him. But when you're talking values, it's a very nice one at 3K. I like it quite a bit. Second base position, Whit Merrifield at 54. You can definitely look there, but I love me some Ryan McMahon tonight. Second base, third base eligible at 53. I think McMahon goes downtown tonight. He's a dong play for me this evening. So I like McMahon a lot at 53. Hundo. Going below the 5K range now. Jed Lowry at 46 is doubleheader game, but very good play against Shoemaker. Josh Harrison versus Waino if you're stacking Washington. Don't sleep on the red hot Harrison. Garrett Hampson if he's leading off for Colorado at 4K. Great value versus Garcia. In my cash game lineups, I will have Jazz Chisholm everywhere. Second base shortstop at 39 hundo. He's even tournament viable, but in cash, you just lock Chisholm in at second or short, whichever one you need for $3,900. That's a really strong play there. I like that quite a bit. Another play I like a lot is Eduardo Escobar if you're not using Castillo. Only 3,700. He's second base, third base eligible. He's been straight crushing the ball for like on the season. 25 over the last 10 games. 25, 23, 21, 23, 0, 8, 21, 0, 15, 9. It's basically 8 or more in like 8 of 10 games. Double digits in 6. He's raking. Absolutely raking at $3,700 against Castillo. If you're not using Castillo, Escobar is a really strong play at that price point. Tommy La Stella at 36 versus Wheeler. If you're fading Wheeler and you're stacking the Giants with like Belt, La Stella is a good one at 36. Not a must stack, but I'm just saying it's there. Other than that, at the second base position, if John Birdie starts, he's 31 versus Harvey. Don't hate that he might get the start with Starling Marte out. So get some John Birdie at 31. Steal some bags against Harvey and company. Not the worst play. Ruben Odor is a punt at 29 versus Morton. Is worth a target as well. Third base position, got Machado. Okay, Bregman should be back, so keep that in mind. But again, McMahon at 53. Love it, love it, love it. Arenado versus Corbin. We can definitely target Patrick Corbin. Yet again, he's 5K. Chris Bryant, 48. I mentioned if you're using some Cubbies bats, Bryant and Rizzo on fire. Longoria had a decent Monday night. He's 4,400. Josh Donaldson against Manaea. Again, doubleheader game at 42. I like the idea of Travis Shaw versus Paddock. If you're making like a little Brewer stack, Shaw is a stackable, not a one-off, but a stack piece in that matchup. Phillip Evans at 39, talked about him already. Heimer Canelaro at 38 brings a little bit of value. to the dish, but love Escobar at 37. Mentioned him already. Alec Baum's only 36 versus Webb. Listella 36. That Baum price at 36 versus Webb's very nice. Webb, who knows how healthy he really is coming off the vaccine illness that he had for a couple days, should be back on Tuesday. So keep an eye on him. Rayo Ruiz, I guess if you need a punt, I really wouldn't, but you can. Other than that, like Hunter Dozier's 31, he can be a tournament play versus Hill. Austin Riley 3K could be a tournament play versus Tyon, just looking for that home run bat. Rune Odor, mentioned him at 29 as well. So a couple ones you could target there at third base. Shortstop, you got Trevor Story and Coors. Eventually those balls are going to go over the fence. 56 hundo. Eugenio Suarez versus Gallen at 53. He's got 2 bombs off of Gallen in his career. Don't hate Bogarts in his matchup. Correa's playing. But go for some cheaper options if you choose to. Miguel Rojas at 41, I don't hate, but I'd rather guys Chisholm at 39. I like the savings there with Chisholm. Galvis is swinging a decent bat for Baltimore. He's 38. Still would rather have Chisholm or Paul DeJong. It really stinks. It was good for the lineups we made, but it stinks that DeJong double-donged on Monday because now everyone's going to roster him at $3,700 versus Corbin when we already would have anyways. So DeJong at 37, I love. You got Chisholm and DeJong, 2 of my more favorite plays at the shortstop position, and they're both below 4K. If Josh Rojas gets the start for Arizona, he's second base shortstop. He's 31. Another value. And then Luis Urias, he went deep on Monday. I talked about him. He's really swinging it good for Milwaukee. He's 3K in that matchup if you want another punt as well. Not a must, but a definite punt piece at shortstop with Luis Urias at 3K. All right, of a slate of this size, the outfield shall be loaded, as you would expect. But in no world is Byron Buxton the most expensive outfielder, especially on a 7-inning game. He's $6,200. I love Byron Buxton. I love what Byron Buxton's done this year. $6,200 is asinine. It's ridiculous. So that's not happening. But Trout at 61, I don't mind one bit. Soto at 59. That long ball is going to start coming for Soto. Might want to get on board. JD Martinez went deep on Monday. He's 58 versus Ryu. I'd rather pay for Soto, but JD versus lefty, you know the drill. Harper at 56 is just hitting everything hard. Watching him over the weekend and then watching the whole game against the Giants on Monday, they said it's the hardest hit rate he has in his career right now. And just watching him hit the ball, it's crazy. He's locked in. So Harper at 56, that's a very strong price point there. You got Blackman and Coors at 52. Don't hate that if you're stacking Colorado. You got Cruz versus Benai at 5K versus a lefty. That works too. I mentioned Jared Walsh earlier. Yastrzemski 47. Sure, if you're stacking the Giants. Brantley's only 46 in Coors. If you're not using Gray, that's a nice Coors value in that situation. Jesse Winker's only 43 versus Gallen. If you're not using Gallen, I love it. It'll be cash viable tonight. In Coors Field, Kyle Tucker's only $4,300. I will take the bait there. Give me the bait. $4,300 for Kyle Tucker in Coors. I'll jump on that one. I'll jump on that grenade. A few other spots here. You got Meadows versus Keller at 41. I can see the appeal there. I mentioned Hampson at 4K. That's a great price point as well. Santander's only 39 if you're using him versus Niter. Don't hate that. And I'm going to go through some stacking different things. 13 games. There's a lot of ways to stack tonight. So I'll talk about those a little more in depth here once we finish the outfield position. Connor's been on fire against 7-inning games. You got to try to be picky on these slates if you can. Just like plant your flag and stick to it. And I'm just avoiding the 7-inning game. That's just my thing. Minnesota missing so many games. It's just like, I'm just going to pass. Cedric Mullins leading off for Baltimore at 38. Great part of a stack. Verdugo, if you're not using Ryu, Verdugo hits lefties very well, and he's swinging a very hot bat. So he's $3,800. He should be on your radar for sure. We know Kiki Hernandez loves lefties. He's 36. Lourdes Gurriel's 36. Brian Reynolds is on straight fire. He's $3,600. Love him in cash against Fulmer. So he's a good look. Brandon Nemo, Mr. Cash himself, 35 versus Arrieta. You go right back to that with Nemo. Like that a lot. There's going to be so many plays on this slate. Avisel Garcia, 35 hundo. Don't mind that if you're stacking Baltimore. Alex Dickerson's 34 with Wheeler in a tournament. Sure. Ramel Tapia, if he's leading off for Colorado or hitting towards the top of that order, he's only $3,400 in Coors against Garcia. Lock it up. That is a ridiculous price point. I guess some really good prices, but some of it is just dumb. Peralta, if you're fading Castillo, is 33. It's not bad. Gregory Polanco in a tournament, he's 33. He's swinging it very, very well also. Another guy to keep in mind when you're looking at Pittsburgh bats. He's one to target. A few others. If Sam Hilliard ever cracks lineup, he's 32. JBJ is only 32 versus Paddock. He's swinging it good, so don't hate that. Dylan Carlson's 31 versus Corbin and company. Hunter Dozier mentioned him at 31. So good values there. In a tournament, Hunter Renfroe loves his lefties. He's 3,000. You could go there. Adolis Garcia against Ohtani's 3K, but then you get a lot of Angels bullpen. Remember, only 75 pitches for Ohtani. So Angels bullpen is in play. So Adolis Garcia at 3K went deep on Monday. You can go back to that well. With a depleted outfield for Arizona, Pavin Smith, $2,900. He was leading off the other day. He's a guy you can keep on your radar. Really good value if he cracks the lineup, especially if it's towards the top of that Arizona lineup. He's got some cash viability if he's towards the top of that lineup. So keep an eye on Pavin Smith at 29 and that Arizona lineup, which will get pretty early because they're a 6:40 Eastern game. Jurickson Profar at 29. I said it on Monday's show. If he's at the top of the order, don't mind it. He was with Grisham out. Grisham's day to day. So Profar at 29. I love Burns though, so don't go running to it, but it's intriguing. We got Willie Calhoun at 29. And then our boy against Nick Neidhart of all people. It's not like he's facing an ace. It's not Alcantara. None of this stuff. DJ Stewart's $2,800. You know what to do. You know what to do, people. $2,800 for DJ frickin' Stewart. Show this man respect. You want to see some respect? Manny Margot's $2,700. There's so many value plays at outfield. It's like Cole Calhoun's $2,500 for Cole Calhoun in Great American Small Park. I know it's Luis Castillo, but come on, man. So there's a lot of value if you want to mix and match. Like, don't play all of them. You don't have to, but you could legit play 3 outfielders, especially in cash, at like 3,700 and below if you want. Like, I want to play Kyle Tucker in cash, but I kind of want to because it's Coors Field. But man, there's so many other options. There's Hampton, there's Tapia, there's Nemo. There's so many I didn't even mention. There's a ton of options in the outfield when it comes to value. So keep that in mind when you're building your lineups. All right, recapping your pitching. Corbin Burns, best play on the slate, no questions. In the middle there, you got Ryu, Morton, Erod. I like Morton out of that group, but Erod and Ryu cannot be ignored either. Interesting tournament plays. Taijuan Walker against the Cubs, like that one. Luis Castillo, I will take the bait. I will also have an Arizona stack. And then Michael Fulmer if you really, really need to punt. All right, I said I talked stacks a little more in depth on this one for you. Skipping Minnesota, Oakland. Atlanta, New York, not really stacking up there. I like Freddie Freeman, not really stacking up. Arizona, Cincinnati. All right, Arizona stack time. Escobar, and then you look for maybe Pavin Smith, maybe some Peralta. Cole Calhoun's really cheap. See how the lineup shakes out around Escobar. He's my main piece of that, though. But you can get a lot of value with Arizona bats in this situation. Baltimore, Miami, like a little bit of both. I wouldn't go all in, but you can get like Santander, Cedric Mullins, the 1-2 hitters for cheap. DJ Stewart's extremely cheap, so you can have some fun there. You can always go Trey Boo-Boo when you get those other guys so cheap. So I don't really want to go all in on Baltimore, Miami, but you get some very nice, cheap 2 to 3 man stacks with Baltimore. Miami versus Matt Harvey, you got to love something there. So make sure you see the lineup. Like, no Starling Marte really stinks, but there's going to be some options there with Duvall and Aguilar and Cooper, who are also, I love Jazz Chisholm. Again, it's one of those games I don't want to go all out stacking, but there's some very nice value, like mini stacks you can have fun with there. Pittsburgh, Detroit, I like the Pittsburgh stack if you're not using Fulmer. Moran and Reynolds are my top 2 plays there. You got Evans, you got Frazier, you got Polanco to mix and match with, but Moran and Reynolds are the 2 guys I'm targeting there in Pittsburgh. Detroit, you can. There's really not a ton I love there unless you want to get really freaky deaky. Like, they do hit lefties well, but I'll pass. Philadelphia, Harper, Hoskins, the top 2 guys for me there. If you want to go deeper, go for it, but I want them versus Webb. If you're going there, it's still not one of my top stacks. You got St. Louis, Washington. You can target Corbin yet again. You know the drill. DeYoung, love the price point. You got Arenado, you got Molina, you got Goldschmidt. Even Carlson is a lefty at 31. I'm on board with that. Washington versus Waino. Soto, Turner, love Soto. So keep in mind and see how that lineup comes out with Bell and Schwarber and company, because you can go with lefties versus with Waino. Boston, Toronto, I respect both pitchers enough. Like, I get it. If you're making 20-something lineups or whatever, maybe have some exposure. I think I'll just pass here. Mets, Cubs, I really love targeting Arrieta, but I'm not in love with the Mets offense. It's more like Nemo and Cash, and that's it for me. Tampa Bay, Kansas City is kind of passing that one altogether. Houston, Colorado, I like John Gray as a pitcher, but like, if you're going bats, Tucker, Brantley, they're both affordable. Bregman will be back. If Jordan cracks the lineup, that's cool. But see what else comes in there. You might get some nice value, actually, with some of the scrubs they've been putting out. But Colorado, like, Tapia's cheap. Hampson's cheap. Love McMahon tonight. You got some other pieces there you can mix and match, so keep an eye on Colorado. Should be a popular stack this Coors Field, but for good reason. Texas, LA, probably passing on that one for the most part. And then Milwaukee, San Diego, I don't mind a Avicel, Shaw, and JBJ three-man stack if you so choose to go there. So lots and lots of ways to go. Hit me up in the Slack chat if you have any questions. I'm on Twitter at BDentric, the free fantasy DJ Slack chat. Just ask, you shall receive. We'll get you in there. Also, it's Tuesday, so I have the free DraftKings picks over at RotoBaller at rotoballer.com, so check that out. Also, if you'd like to give a rating review on iTunes, I'd really appreciate it. MLB DFS Quick Hits. Check out the RotoBaller YouTube channel to watch, subscribe, like, and share as well. But until next time, this is MLB DFS Quick Hits, your Tuesday, April 20th edition. I'm out.